I have seen many things this year, but this morning I've seen a president who fears CEOs. That's a unique one. So, Bwana Chair EACC, and our friend for many days, Reverend Dr. Oginde, CEO, fellow CEO, the President of Africa Editors Forum, Madam Presidente, mwenye unaogopa CEOs, very strange, directors of EACC and members of the fourth estate, Mjambo. This is a unique meeting in that it's a meeting of the people who operate from hot seats. EACC hot seats, media hot seats. And myself as the president rightly says, we get all those calls. But I think there is something about being in a place for a fairly good time. Not many things are hot nowadays. Actually, most of the calls that come and the complaints about press freedom or what the media has done or what a headline on Mombasa Road has done, they are what I will call set-piece complaints. The same thing over and over. What was Serikali thinking the media is against them, that journalists are not patriotic, and media thinking government is not being open and not collaborative and all that. If you reflect, you realize that it's a set-piece thing. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. And when I see the complaints now, while I used to get a little scared a few years ago, I say it's another verse of the set-piece. It all ends, and we know how it ends. But most important is a really appreciation about this meeting, that we have the guys who operate on the hot seats, while the other guys, like Joe here, will be dealing with the hot story and all that. Bwana CEO, EACC, and the commissioners here, you'll be dealing with a hot file. And we have to agree that the breakfast you gave us this morning is not in vain. Because when the media highlights a very hot file, your file inapoa kidogo, you can move it a bit. Many times kuna file iko mahali ni moto kidogo, lakini ikifaulu weko kwa headline kidogo and a little story, then the pressure, while it looks like pressure to move the file, actually it's the heat of the file that allows us to move a bit, because we operate in a very charged political environment. So this collaboration is important, and it is hopefully will bear very good fruits. I will beg for a minute of silence for everyone here to reflect, because I think we have not done that as a country and as a people, the impact of fake news and disinformation on our entire ecosystem. As much as I've seen my letter forged and put all over the places, I've seen a lot of letters from yourself alleging arrests and all that, with signatures and all that, with videos and photos and all that. I think that we haven't put enough time to reflect about the impact of fake news, disinformation, malinformation, and what it can do to a country. And when we move into heightened political times, you could get into tensions in communities. By the time the truth comes, people could have done anything, especially when people know that you can incite peoples and others. So I think somewhere we need to reflect about that. We have seen cloned headlines, isn't it? Including cloned faces of our journalists reading alleged news and whatnot, isn't it? We could see you, Bwana Chairman, reading a speech before the media, an non-existent one, but it's still been done by AI and all that. So I think it's a reality that we have to reflect about going forward. Going back to the press freedom threats that are many, I want to say that apart from isolated cases where we get Jim from Omwoyo If a fine 50K, the courts have not understood the provisions of the Constitution, all that, I said that it's a set piece. We know this thing. It comes and goes. They say that the work of journalism is holding those in power to account. And that means it's afflicting the comfortable. If you do your news and headlines, Joe, and nobody bothers and nobody calls you, I think it's time for you to go home and try farming. I know you're a good farmer. That is the work of journalism, really. Unless you do work and people get annoyed, then you have no work to do. And so I think when you feel there's pressure, I know we have a challenge of the finance and the dynamic market. Real journalism is there to annoy. There is no press freedom if it's not the freedom to annoy people. So if you say that we are a country that protects press freedom and all that, you must protect the right of the media to annoy those in power. If the media does its job and those in power are very happy, then we have to engage in a recruitment drive for the Public Relations Society or any other person for that matter. Allow me to mention a bit about the media fund. It's a discussion that has been going on for a while. And I will throw a proposal because with fellow CEOs here, we could have something to do. And I will do a little simplification for the media here. If we wanted to set up a media fund today in government, we have lawyers here, it is a bill, isn't it? It is titled a bill for the establishment of a media fund to protect press freedom and allow something like that, isn't it? There is established a fund known as the Media Fund or Media Diversity Fund. The headquarters of the fund shall be in Nairobi. The fund will be run by a board, appointed this and this and this and that, isn't it? For those who know legislation, it will take at least 3 or 4 years to do that. The entire establishing, if you want to throw it from government. But there is a shortcut we can take now that we are here with the CEO and the colleagues here. We could do a little fund, and through this collaboration, we could come to visit again your neighbors and see, can we put a little fund from the budget you have said that this is a fund for investigations, that a little team that is, can take the oath of secrecy so that they don't get too much. We could get a little fund from existing budgets. Then when journalists think they are pursuing a story that is fairly expensive, and it's maybe a story, say 1 or 2 counties or some complex laundering thing, they just apply to you. We could get a fund. That's within budgets, I know. We know which season we are in. And we could get a little team that explores and says, we think this is a worthy case. We allow Joe's team to pursue this story with a few $100,000 or whatever that can be. And even if we do up to 4 or 5 of those grants per year, it is possible, and it's something we can do through MOUs and all that. So that it's not saying that the fund is bad. It's knowing that, also the legislative processes, we have infancy, then we have adolescence, and then we have maturity, isn't it? I think in the big house on the hill, it's easy to call adolescence. And so we could propose a fund there. You have no control of what will come out as the final fund, isn't it? But I think with the collaboration of the people who occupy the hot seats, and I'm proposing that we try to follow that, we could try to do maybe in the next coming budget, that is something we can do within the next 3 months, say we are going to make a trial, see this fund, what can it be? The beauty of that is that we can also talk to our partners in whatever, and so that they put that fund. When we have a fund set aside beside the legislation, and we are doing piloting kidogo kidogo, something we can get moving in the next 60 to 90 days. Those who know this, we can be here for a while. Yet we can practically create a fund to help these journalists in here pursue certain hot stories based on a certain criteria that we set, isn't it? And it's very easy to get certain people up. I know we have good partners with the UN Office on Drug and Crime and other, who can easily, chip in on something that is already moving. It's always very easy to fuel a moving train than give people a proposal that you want to build a railway line. We've been discussing about an SGR line to Busia for a while. But if you said you have a train and you want to move to get by an executive coach, it can take lesser time. That's just a proposal. And I think it's something that we can, as you go into the plenary, maybe, but if we agree to pursue that, the same delegation that came to your office can meet again, so that when chairman and commissioners and yourself go to parliament in the next day, you could defend that vote line, so that it's really practical. And for that is something practical from 1st of July, if we follow that route as we pursue the other longer one. And also it helps us to pilot the idea that is it possible for a strategic MOU for certain agencies to finance certain deep dive stories, which we hear people saying are fairly expensive, apart from the logistics of getting the story, legal provision to stop our journalists from being put in cells and fined a few thousands all the time, safe houses because people must engage in strategic camouflage and all that, and strategic sharing of documents. I think those are matters that we could pursue. So I urge that, well, we're very happy about this meeting and the sharing. I urge that we move now from words to action and see what we can do so that we all can act and save our country. Senior Joe says that not many people who steal funds want to say that they stole. I am not very sure. I will be consulting Bishop again what it means if I can work very hard and earn some money, whether I can pour the money on tables, in bags, in a room, and take photos and post on social media. I don't know what that is, whether it's Neugonjwa, I do not know who you want to impress, because I don't think that I can work very hard for my money, win a tender, build a road, or do what, na nikilipwa niweke pesa kwa bag, nipigwe picha niweke Instagram. So maybe it depends on whether people saying, yes, I stole, or people saying, I have a lot of money which cannot fit in the bank, so it fits around bags, and I have to go walk around with it. So I really appreciate and congratulate the editors and ESCC for this collaboration, and hope that we really get practical, doable, and actionable points from this. You know, even if we did 5-6 grants per year, and 4 of them ended up with strategic convictions of real files, being we will sit here a few days after April Fool's Day next year and say, look here, when we sat here, we had started this journey, and look at what we have done, isn't it? So I urge that we think about it, put everything in motion, and then not lose sight of the antelope. That means that the big media fund, isn't it? But see what we can activate kesho kutwa in May, June, ama kama chair na CEO mnaona mwaka unaisha na kuna kafandi kadogo kanaweza run story before June 30th. There are certain practicals. So when you see me talk to CEO, editors, msijali, it's accounting officers, kuna line ingine tunajua. But it's about activating, I mean, budgeting cycles, when you go to parliaments and all that. It's different going to parliament with a bill to establish a media fund, and it's different getting an MOU within 2 weeks to do a thing or two. So I wish you all the best in the deliberations, and now please allow me to invite Bwana CEO, ESCC, to come and give us remarks. Madam President, wacha nichukue kazi yako kidogo. Asante sana. Karibu.